Have you ever finished a talk with someone and felt completely drained, as if your energy was siphoned away without a single word of argument? It's a hollow feeling, a slow erosion of your spirit, where you're left questioning your own perceptions. True manipulation rarely announces itself with a shout. It arrives in a quiet, calculated whisper. They don't need to dominate you openly. They simply cloud your judgment until you start to do the work for them. And before you realize it, you're doubting your own memory, your decisions, and your fundamental value. The most dangerous part? Those who manipulate you often with a mask of a friend, a partner, or a trusted colleague. They weave obligation from affection and call it loyalty. But there is a path to reclaiming your clarity. The Stoics navigate a world of deception and turmoil, yet their inner peace remained unshakable. Their core teaching was this: your mind is your sovereign territory. No one can enter unless you grant them access. You cannot block every deceptive word, but you can master your own awareness. Today, we will uncover 7 unmistakable signals of covert manipulation, and more critically, how you can remain centered, clear, and emotionally resilient through it all. If you're ready to see the patterns, comment, "I see the signs." Let's begin. 1. Reality distortion. This is the subtle art of making you question your own sanity. It begins with small denials and contradictions. You express that something was hurtful, and they tell you you're being too sensitive. You remember a conversation vividly, and they insist it never occurred. Gradually, your self-assurance wears down. You start apologizing for perceptions, for memories, for simply seeing things as they are. When someone persistently makes you doubt your own mind, they are not mistaken. They are maneuvering for control. The aim isn't to find truth. It's to establish dominance. They want you to depend on their narrative so entirely that your emotional stability hinges on their validation. And when that happens, they command your feelings, your responses, your very voice. A Stoic doesn't debate reality. They witness it and hold their ground. Your perception is your fortress. Guard its gates. When someone warps the truth, your strength lies not in convincing them, but in knowing your own truth with absolute certainty. Imagine a family member who flatly denies a hurtful remark they made last week. They look you in the eye and claim you're inventing things. That moment of self-doubt, that's the territory they want to occupy. Instead of arguing, anchor yourself. Keep a private journal. Document facts. Truth doesn't require you to raise your voice. It only needs you to remember. Those who distort reality feed on your emotional reactions. The more you justify, the more they twist. So, stop explaining. Let your calm demeanor be your statement. When they imply you're unstable, respond with serene silence and unshakable posture. Their power thrives on your engagement. Starve it. Stoicism reminds you that your judgment is your domain. Fortify it. When you choose stillness over distress, you neutralize their influence. They can hurl doubt, but they cannot penetrate a mind that refuses to yield. Here is your practice. Before reacting to a denial, pause. Breathe deeply and root yourself in the facts. Record what happened, not for retaliation, but for your own lucidity. Repeat this affirmation. My reality is valid. My clarity is my power. Because when you cease debating your own experience, manipulation loses its foothold. You rise above the fray, untouched by their distortions, guided not by anxiety, but by your own unwavering truth. 2. The perpetual victim. This is emotional blackmail, disguised as helplessness. On the surface, it appears innocent, even worthy of your sympathy. They present themselves as perpetually overwhelmed, misunderstood, or unfairly treated. A colleague might lament, "I guess I'll just have to manage all this alone," while subtly implying you should volunteer. A relative may sigh, "A truly caring person would just know what I need," converting your empathy into a duty. Initially, it feels natural to offer support, but soon a pattern emerges. Your energy is depleted, your own goals are sidelined, and your needs are dismissed as unimportant. The peril of this tactic is that it turns your compassion into a cage. You begin to question your own boundaries. Saying no or establishing limits triggers feelings of guilt and shame. You feel accountable for another person's emotional state, even when it has no real connection to you. Emotional blackmail masquerades as vulnerability. It disguises control as closeness. Your innate desire to help becomes the very chain that binds you. Stoicism offers a clarifying perspective. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a person's worth is shown by what they endure, but this does not mean you must endure the burdens of others at the cost of your own well-being. Your responsibility is for your own actions and reactions, not for fixing another's life. Observe behavioral patterns. Recognize the moments when empathy is being used as a tool. Understand that their emotional pain is not your obligation to resolve, and that prioritizing your own peace is not selfish. It is essential. Practical steps to apply the Stoic principle. Listen without feeling compelled to fix. Offer your presence without taking ownership of their problems. Empathy is about connection, not duty. Set firm boundaries. Say no with calm conviction. For example, I hear your struggle, but I am not able to take this on for you. Avoid lengthy explanations or justifications. Protect your daily rhythm. Guard your time and mental energy. Continue with your work, your exercise, your reflection. Do not let misplaced guilt derail your priorities. Observe patterns over time. Take note of repeated tactics and moments where requests feel manipulative rather than genuine. When you respond with mindful awareness instead of automatic guilt, you reclaim your power. You learn to distinguish a real cry for help from a calculated play for control. Compassion can coexist with strong boundaries. Caring for someone does not mean submitting to them. The manipulator's influence weakens the instant you stop handing them control over your emotions. The Stoic mindset in practice. Acknowledge the emotional pull. Pause before reacting and respond from principle, not impulse. Repeat to yourself, I can care, but I cannot carry. Let this mantra guide your interactions. You can be supportive while remaining in command of yourself. By standing firm, observing patterns, and protecting your inner peace, you exercise true Stoic discipline. When you detach your self-worth from their approval, you remove the leverage they depend on. You are no longer a puppet on their string of guilt. Your calm, consistent boundaries silently demonstrate that their attempts to manipulate will not succeed. Through clarity, reflection, and measured action, you maintain your dignity and inner stability. 3. The guilt lever. This tactic turns your own decency into a weapon against you. It often starts subtly. A friend remarks, I thought I could count on you, or a partner says, if you love me, you'd cancel your plans. These statements seem harmless, appealing to your better nature. But over time, you feel a growing sense of obligation, anxiety, and even shame for asserting your own needs. Every boundary feels like a personal failure. Your innate generosity becomes a chain. The manipulator banks on your internalized sense of duty. They know that most people want to be seen as good and kind. By twisting the desire into pressure, they command not just your actions, but your emotional state. You start interrogating your own motives. Am I a bad person for needing space? Am I wrong for protecting my time? This is emotional coercion, using moral leverage to bend you to their will. Stoicism provides a different path. Your responsibility is limited to your own choices and conduct. Their discomfort is theirs to manage. Your task is to act with reason, virtue, and clear-eyed judgment, not with guilt. Applying this requires deliberate steps. First, pause when you feel the tug of guilt. Ask yourself if their expectation is a true responsibility or a manufactured obligation. Second, establish clear boundaries. State them once, calmly, without over-explaining. I understand you're disappointed, but I need to honor my prior commitment. Third, protect your routine. Do not let guilt pull you away from your work, your health, or your peace. Finally, observe the pattern. Journal when guilt is being weaponized. This awareness helps you anticipate and respond with intention. The Stoic response is to care without capitulating. Compassion does not require surrender. You can acknowledge another's wants while maintaining your own limits. Every time you refuse to react from guilt, you reclaim your authority. The manipulator's power fades when they see their guilt trips no longer work on you. Repeat this daily affirmation. I act from principle, not pressure. Let it anchor you. By doing this, you transform your empathy from a weakness into a conscious choice. You learn that self-respect and kindness are not opposites. They coexist when guided by awareness and deliberate action. When you operate from this place, guilt-tripping loses its sting. You remain composed, centered, and untouchable. The chain breaks because it only works when you willingly pick it up. Standing firm in your peace and principles is your stoic victory. The manipulator cannot control what you do not surrender. 4. Calculated charm. This is the most seductive trap. Charm and praise can feel wonderful initially. Compliments, attentive listening, and warm words make you feel valued and seen. You're the only one who gets me, they might say. At first, it's flattering, and you naturally respond with trust and openness. But beneath this appealing surface often lies a subtle snare. Manipulators use charm to lower your defenses, making it easier to sway your choices, gain favors, or align your actions with their agenda. What looks like admiration becomes a form of leverage. The danger is that flattery can blind you to reality. When someone constantly praises you, it's easy to feel obliged to please them, defend them, or put their desires ahead of your own. You might even overlook red flags or inconsistent behavior because their charisma paints over their true intentions. The manipulator counts on this distraction, your comfort, your desire to be liked, your trust in their apparent admiration. They exploit the natural human tendency to believe warmth and praise. Stoicism gives us a framework to see through this. Don't let applause pull you from your purpose. Flattery is external noise. Your virtue and reason are your internal anchors. The critical question is not, do I enjoy their compliment, but do their actions match their words? Observation is your greatest tool. See if their behavior demonstrates consistent integrity over time. Charisma alone is not a measure of character. Practical steps for applying stoic clarity. Pause before accepting flattery as fact. Notice when compliments seem to be a setup for a request. Observe patterns, not just isolated nice gestures. Does their conduct show reliability, honesty, and respect? Respond with mindful awareness. A compliment does not put you in their debt. You can say, thank you, without agreeing to an extra demand. This preserves your autonomy. Reflect daily. Keep a brief log of instances where charm was paired with an expectation or manipulative behavior. This strengthens your pattern recognition and prevents emotional entanglement. When you practice this consistently, your relationship with charm changes. Praise no longer carries hidden strings. Admiration no longer forces compliance. By maintaining clear boundaries and judging by actions more than words, you take back control of your perceptions and decisions. Your stoic mantra for dealing with charm. Trust is built, not bought with words. Let this guide your responses. You can appreciate kindness without surrendering your power. You can accept warmth without letting it cloud your judgment. In the end, charm and flattery lose their potency when met with calm awareness and consistent boundaries. The manipulator cannot influence what you choose not to give. Through observation, patience, and reason, you maintain inner clarity. You remain untouchable, guided not by their words, but by your own values, perception, and self-mastery. 5. The silent punishment. This is one of the most psychologically unsettling tools a manipulator wields. It doesn't involve yelling or visible conflict. It manifests as withdrawal, absence, or cold indifference. A partner, coworker, or friend suddenly stops replying to messages, avoids conversation, or becomes distant. Initially, it might seem like a minor issue, but soon a quiet anxiety sets in. You wonder, what did I do? How did I upset them? The silence becomes a heavy weight, creating tension, self-doubt, and guilt. The manipulator uses this quiet pressure to provoke a reaction and regain control over your emotional state. The peril lies in how effectively silence can hijack your thoughts. While you acutely feel their absence, the manipulator's goal is to make you so uncomfortable that you initiate an apology or concede to their will. Every unreturned call or ignored text is a subtle form of coercion. The quieter they become, the louder your internal worry grows. It's a weapon aimed at your fundamental need for connection and validation. Stoicism offers a counterstrategy. A Stoic knows that external events cannot disturb their peace without their consent. The manipulator's silence only has power if you surrender your calm to it. Your power rests in choosing detachment over panic, observation over reaction. Practical steps to navigate the silent treatment. Pause and observe. Notice your emotional response without acting on it impulsively. Breathe and remind yourself that their silence speaks about them, not your worth. Maintain your routine. Immerse yourself in your work, exercise, hobbies, or reflection. Let your life continue uninterrupted, showing that their absence cannot disrupt your equilibrium. Respond strategically. If you respond at all, when communication resumes, reply with calm neutrality. A simple, "I see you've been quiet," maintains your poise. Reflect and journal. Write down instances of silent treatment, your reactions, and any insights. This builds awareness and stops emotional manipulation from taking root. By responding with composure and clear boundaries, you reclaim control. The manipulator's silence becomes ineffective because it no longer dictates your mental state. You turn the experience from a trap into a practice of discipline, patience, and inner clarity. Your Stoic mantra for this: "My calm is my reply." Repeat it when someone tries to provoke anxiety through absence. Silence, when you choose it deliberately, is not a weapon, it's a shield. By remaining steadfast, calm, and guided by reason, you disarm the manipulator, maintain your dignity, and preserve your inner peace. Ultimately, the silent treatment loses its power when met with awareness, patience, and unwavering boundaries. The manipulator cannot control what you do not willingly offer them. Through observation, reflection, and calm action, you maintain authority over your mind, emotions, and reactions. 6. Engineered chaos. Some manipulators prosper in disorder. They create confusion, instigate minor conflicts, or stir up drama just enough to knock you off balance. At first, it might appear coincidental, a misunderstood text, a sudden shift in mood, a small disagreement that blows up unexpectedly. But over time, a pattern emerges. You're constantly on edge, rethinking your choices and emotionally drained. The manipulator relies on your unease. When you are unbalanced, they gain the upper hand. The danger of chaos creation is its subtle power. When your mind is preoccupied with uncertainty, you lose clarity and confidence. Small provocations, a critical remark, an abrupt reaction, an inconsistency, are designed to distract you, capture your attention, and manipulate your emotional response. You begin to react instead of respond. Your energy is drained, leaving little room for reason or reflection. Stoicism provides a way to counter this. You have command over your own mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you'll find strength. The manipulator cannot control your inner calm unless you allow it. Chaos loses its effect when met with observation, patience, and deliberate action. By choosing awareness over reaction, you maintain your balance and refuse to be pulled into unnecessary conflict. Practical steps to respond to chaos. Pause before reacting. Acknowledge the provocation and your feelings, but don't act impulsively. Observe patterns. Note instances of inconsistent behavior or manufactured drama. This lets you predict and mentally prepare. Maintain boundaries. Keep interactions structured and purposeful. Don't let minor conflicts dictate your mood or choices. Focus on what you can control. Engage in your priorities, your work, your projects, your routines, rather than responding to their unpredictable conduct. For example, a colleague might switch from friendly to critical without warning, trying to force you into a reactive cycle. A Stoic response is to breathe, assess the facts, and act from reason, not emotion. Your calm and consistency communicate power far more effectively than any reactive outburst. Your Stoic mantra for handling chaos: "My peace breaks their control." Repeat it whenever you feel the manipulator's attempts to unsettle you. By responding with clarity, patience, and self-discipline, you reclaim authority over your mind. You refuse to be a puppet in another's theater of disorder. Ultimately, creating chaos loses its grip when you consistently observe, set boundaries, and maintain composure. The manipulator thrives on your instability. Remove it, and their leverage vanishes. By practicing awareness, deliberate choice, and emotional control, you remain untouchable, your peace unshaken, your clarity intact, and your inner strength fully your own. 7. The accountability vacuum. These manipulators never accept responsibility. They are masters of shifting blame. deflecting criticism, and turning every error into someone else's fault. A co-worker might claim, "You didn't give me the details," or a friend asserts, "You made me act this way." Their objective is simple: to evade accountability while keeping you in a state of uncertainty. Over time, you may start questioning your own actions, feeling pressure to apologize or fix situations that aren't yours to mend. This constant deflection erodes your confidence and creates a toxic dependency. The danger of blame shifting is that it warps your sense of responsibility. When every failure or conflict is pinned on you, you internalize guilt for things outside your control. You may overcompensate, second-guess your decisions, or constantly monitor your behavior to avoid triggering accusations. This manipulator prospers on your preoccupation with self-doubt. Stoicism offers a framework for reclaiming control. No one is free who has not mastered themselves. Your freedom and peace depend on recognizing what is within your control, your actions, responses, and values, and what is not. You cannot force others to act with integrity, nor can you assume responsibility for their choices. Practical steps for maintaining stoic boundaries against blame shifting: pause and assess. When accused, breathe, observe the situation, and separate fact from fiction. Acknowledge what is truly your responsibility and release what is not. Take ownership only for your own conduct, not for the manipulator's responses or mistakes. Communicate with clarity. A firm but neutral statement like, "I am responsible for my part and you are for yours," reinforces boundaries without aggression. Document repeated patterns. Keeping a factual record of interactions helps clarify reality and reduces self-doubt over time. For example, a manager consistently blames you for delays caused by systemic team issues. A stoic response is to calmly document your contributions, communicate clearly about your role, and detach emotionally from their accusations. You act with integrity, not defensiveness. Your stoic mantra: "My accountability is my freedom." Repeat it when someone tries to place undue blame on you. By asserting what is yours to manage and releasing what is not, you reclaim your energy, preserve your peace, and maintain lucidity. Ultimately, manipulators depend on your willingness to accept false blame. When you stand firm in self-responsibility and clarity, their power dwindles. By observing patterns, setting boundaries, and responding from reason rather than fear, you remain untouchable. Your inner strength is preserved, your judgment stays sharp, and your freedom becomes impervious to manipulation. Now that we've walked through the 7 unmistakable signals of hidden manipulation, it's time to integrate this awareness and reclaim your inner authority. Reality distortion, the perpetual victim, the guilt lever, calculated charm, the silent punishment, engineered chaos, and the accountability vacuum. Each of these strategies thrives on your uncertainty, your emotional reactivity, and your willingness to relinquish control. The moment you recognize the pattern, observe without self-judgment, and establish firm boundaries, the manipulator's influence begins to crumble. Stoicism teaches that genuine freedom is an internal state. You have command over your own mind, not outside events. Your peace, clarity, and self-respect cannot be taken from you unless you voluntarily hand them over. By acting with reasoned judgment, detaching from emotional snares, and standing firm in your principles, you maintain sovereignty over your thoughts and reactions. Practical application is everything. Pause before you respond. Document your interactions. Set your boundaries clearly and calmly. Affirm your autonomy with mantras like, "My clarity is my power," and "My peace breaks their control." These principles convert awareness into protection and empathy into resilient strength. Remember, manipulators rely on your compliance. Remove their leverage. Respond from a place of lucidity rather than guilt, from observation rather than raw emotion. Through discipline, patience, and consistent practice, you become truly untouchable. Your inner peace remains intact, your judgment sharp, and your self-mastery unassailable. If this resonated with you, take a step. Please like this video to support Winds of Thought. Comment, "I see the signs," below if you're ready to claim your power. Share it with someone who needs this clarity. Your calm is your ultimate strength. Your boundaries are your shield. And your mind is your impenetrable fortress.